Welcome to the Finance Agents series. Today's part 2, we will be discussing how to configure and run a reconciliation agents using Finance Agents. In my scenario today, I'm at month end. I need to reconcile my customer payments with my GL bank account exported from my ERP data, general ledger, and we want to do this process quickly and as efficient as possible with the minimum interactions. So I will configure a reconciliation agent to perform this task on my behalf so I can focus on more strategic tasks. In today's video, we will see how to set up the reconciliation parameters, how to run reconciliation in an assistive mode from the Excel add-in, how to save the reconciliation parameters as a template, and then finally configure the autonomous agents and see it in actions. In my datasets today, I have here an export from my payments, and you will see here I have voucher, a date, and an amount keys that match my general ledger data with the same voucher, date, and amount. So now let's see how we can reconcile this efficiently and quickly and basically get the classification that we need, what is matching from both data sets, what is not matching, and what is potentially matched. And before I run the reconciliations, notice a couple of scenarios here. In my bank transaction ledger, I have a voucher, which is 910, the date, and an amount of 20. While in my payment, I have the same voucher numbers, but it is splitted on two payments. In addition to that, I have here some variation when it comes to the transaction type description. Some of them is payment to bank, while in my bank transactions, it's only payment. So let's see how we can configure some of the parameters that will help us get this reconciliation classifications correctly. So I'm going to click on my Excel add-in. I'm going to click on financial reconciliation. And then the first step that you will see that automatically the agent will pick up the sheets that have my two data sets. Data needs to be in the table format. So if I click anywhere here, you will see that there is a table in both sheets. And this is one of the requirements to run the reconciliation through the agent. So now my tables and my sheets are automatically selected for me. Also, my keys have been generated based on the agent determination, and the voucher and date and currency will be used, and then the amount fields will be used to do the reconciliation. So I'm going to click keep. And in my scenario here, I have a couple of options that I can do. I can remove an existing mapping. I can add either a mapping key to do a matching or either a monetary key to reconcile the values accordingly. So I'm going to click mapping and I want to add my transaction type. So I'm going to just basically click type, and now the UI is filtered based on the column header in both sheets. So I'm going to select my transaction type, and in the other sheet, I'm going to select the type. And I'm going to click reconcile. So now the agent is analyzing both my sheets, now generated my reconciliation report, and basically will give me an insight on all the steps and the summary of the reconciliation results, which I can append the summary to my report so I can have an all-up reconciliation summary and insights. So notice the following. There is three main categories. One of them is the unmatched transactions, potentially matched transactions, and by default collapsed my matched transactions. In the potentially matched transactions, you will notice here that my 910 and my same voucher in the ledger, they are summed up and shown as one line. And they are shown in the potentially matched transactions because basically this 20, as I showed you, it is an aggregation of two vouchers with $10 each. For the unmatched transactions, notice the following. The first line is basically the same voucher, same date, but the amount is different. There is a delta of $0.56. This might be caused by currency transactions, different posting dates resulted in currency variation. And financially speaking, this should be the same transactions. So let's see how we can include this in my matched transactions. The second scenario, I have here payments to bank and payments, since they have the same amount, same date, same voucher numbers, so initially they matched as well. But because there is a difference in one of the keys that I have selected, which is my transaction type, they are shown as not matched. And then finally, this payment does not exist in my bank transaction ledger, which means that maybe it is posted on a different account. Maybe it is missing one of the transactions, still needs to be posted, and it will require more investigation. So let's see how we can use some additional parameters and functionalities and how that will result in changing the reconciliation results. So for the first line, which I have this variation, I can add a tolerance. So I'm going to go to my monetary account and I'm going to click add modifier and I'm going to add a $0.6 as a tolerance, which can be an accepted threshold for me. And also for the payment to bank and payment, since the only difference is the description. So I'm going to go to my transaction type mapping, add partial matching, and I'm going to select my transaction type where it has the long description. And I'm going to click save. In addition to that, I want to have a detailed view and not aggregated to be able to see what exactly the values of each and every vouchers. In addition to that, I want to add additional column in my reporting that will not be taking care within the reconciliation logic, but it just gives me a good sense of what exactly I'm looking for. So in my bank transactions, I'm going to add my account name, and in my payment, I'm going to add a currency. So now I have performed some parameters that usually take some time. And if I run this reconciliation on a recurring basis, it would be cool to save those as a template so I can preload them each time. So let's see how we can do that. So I'm going to click on reconcile the data. And now let's see the difference. The unmatched transactions, I have the same payment remained, since this payment is not actually posted or included in my bank transactions from my general ledger. But the potentially matched transactions now, you will see here that the sum now of the amounts are displayed. For this transaction, the same. Now my payment, which has the $0.56 difference, appeared in the potentially matched based on the tolerance, and my payment to bank now are matched with the payment, and now they are appearing in the potentially matched. So now I'm happy with the results. This is my data sets. This will be my recurring steps. So the next step I can do is I can save this as a reconciliation template. And now I will click save. And this process is called running the reconciliation in assistive mode. So next time I want to run my reconciliation, I'm just going to delete this reconciliation report. And once I click on financial reconciliation, I can basically click select template, select my template, and I will have all my parameters preloaded for me, my reference columns, my setup, and I can run my reconciliation. In the second scenario now, we will see how we can automate this process. So first, in this workbook, I have my two data sets in two different sheets. So I'm going to create an autonomous agent, and I'm going to supply those files to the agent for consumption. The agent will run the reconciliation, sends me an email with the reconciliation results and insights and my original data source. And now let's see how we can do that. So from this screen, once you have concluded your reconciliation, you will see that your template is preloaded. You can click on create a new agent with this template. And here there will be a one-time configuration requirement for you to supply some options for the agents to know about where is the repository for those files. To be able to do that, you will need a SharePoint folder. So this is my SharePoint site. And all I need to do is basically create a folder that will hold my agents scenarios. And you can create a folder for each reconciliation type that you have. So in my case, I'm going to create a new folder. I'm going to call it payment. And now I will go back to Excel. So I'm going to take this site path, return to my agent screen within the Excel, paste my agent name, and then my library is going to be documents, since I'm using the default library, and my folder structure will be agent and then payment. So I'm going to put agent, payment. I'm going to name my agent payment recon agent. And you will notice that the trigger currently is an event-based trigger, which means that you need to put or create two files in a specific folder that you have specified, and this will be considered the event. And now the agent will kick in, pick up those files, and then sends you an email with the reconciliation results. Coming soon, you will be able to schedule the agent on a specific day or month to run your reconciliation. The next setup would be enter email address who wish to receive the reconciliation email, and you can add up to 10 participants. So I'm going to add my email address. And you will notice here that my template is already picked up, but you can select any template that you have already saved for your reconciliation. I'm going to click save. And now you will be asked for specific permissions. And once you click give permission, the agent will be created for you and it's going to be active. So now I have my template agents assigned, my agent configured, and it is in a running state. If I go to my SharePoint folder and I click on my payment folder, you will see that there is 3 folders automatically created for you. One of them is called source, other processed, and output. The source is where you will upload your reconciliation files. Once the agents pick them up, run the reconciliation, they will be moved to the process, and the reconciliation report will be created in the output folder. So basically, I'm going to click on this folder. And as I mentioned, in my scenario of the assistive reconciliation, I have my 2 sheets into the same workbook. So what I did, I saved both of them into 2 different account Excel files. So I'm going to go back to my folder, upload my files, and this is where the powerful tools of the Power Automate and the whole ecosystem, you can create your own flow that will pick up and automate those files. For example, you can generate an email and attach those files to the email, and then create a flow that will pick up those files from your inbox, attach them to this folder, and then the reconciliation agent will pick up those files, run the reconciliation. So it's going to be automated. And as you can see here in this scenario, I did not even go to Excel. So within a minute or so, the agents will pick up those files, run the reconciliation. So let's see what will happen. So after 2 minutes, almost, my files have been removed from my source folder, and I have received an email. And when I click on this email, I will have my reconciliation reports. It's going to add the summary. And you will see that one set of transactions was uniquely matched or found in the payment and did not have a corresponding match in bank transactions, which is this particular voucher. And if you can see that there is a link here, which will get you to the reconciliation report. This link will exactly pull in the reconciliation output from this particular file. So once you click on the file or the link, you would have your reconciliation results. So you would have your unmatched transactions, then all your potentially matched transactions based on the parameters. And at the end, it will include your reconciliation summary. And all of these are the matched transactions. And then basically the reconciliation summary. So in this scenario, as you can see, I did not use the add-in. I did not go to Excel. All I did is just basically uploaded my 2 reconciliation files to my SharePoint folder. The agents picked up, run the reconciliation, and send me the results. And this is where your agent, you can deactivate the agent or activate the agents. You can have multiple agents per reconciliation type. Each agent should have the corresponding folder in the SharePoint library, and whatever files or reconciliation type you will input in the appropriate folder, the agent will pick up the template, pick up the files, run the reconciliation, and send you an email. In this video, we have seen how we can set up the reconciliation parameters, how we can run the reconciliation in an assistive mode from the Excel add-in, how to save the reconciliation template, and finally, how to configure the autonomous agent. And we have seen it in actions with the minimum interactions. Thank you.